Welcome, Rotarians and guests, to meeting number 5,315. We have a number of guests today. With those of you with guests, please come up to the microphone and bring your guests with you. I think that Bill might have an army of guests. Bill, if you want to do it at a table, you can wing it any way you like, but please come on up to the microphone if you've got a guest and introduce your guest. While we're doing that, I want to thank the greeting line, which is the International Service Committee, and the chairs, Tim and Sandra Gill. They've been working hard and have some really fun stuff in store for you all soon. Hi, Catherine.
Good afternoon, President Steve and Catherine Tompkison. 2 meetings in a row. This is Robert Davis from San Jose State University Veterans Resource Center.
Welcome, Robert.
President Steve.
Hey, Mike.
Mike Connor from San Jose State. I'm very happy to bring 2 guests here. They're actually new neighbors up in the hills of San Jose. Their first is Emily Robin. She's a physician, and she's moving here to the Bay Area trying to find a position to join her husband, Matt. And Matt has quite a a background. I invited him to the spring barbecue, and Matt, he always wears a kilt. Both of them grew up in San Jose, incidentally. But Matt grew up in San Jose. He was a policeman here. He moved to Chicago, became a circus entertainer, and he did that for a time. And now he's retired to Clayton Road up in the hills, and he's a gentleman farmer. So he's got all the bases covered, and they're a wonderful addition to our neighborhood. So we're welcome here, welcome to Rotary. And finally, Emily's mother was a longtime member of the Rotary Club of Cupertino. So Emily traveled with her mom on some of the Cupertino trips.
Thank you, Mike. Welcome, Emily and Matt. And Matt, you are in the running for best dressed today, so good luck. Ed Correa.
President Steve, I have 2 guests today. First is Davlin, who's a former Rotarian from Morgan Hill. She's guesting with us. And Sydney, who's a commercial realtor and a former Rotaract person. This is their first meeting ever with us.
Welcome, both of you. Hope you come back.
Hello, President Steve. My guest today is Deputy AD for PR and Content Strategy, Scott McDonald from San Jose State.
Scott. Hi, Brian.
Hello, President Steve. Brian Franklin here.
Eat that mic, Brian.
That sounds dangerous.
I mean, eat it, yeah.
Today I brought my eldest daughter, Kira. She is a newly minted Spartan, so had to come and listen to the coach. So.
Wonderful. Welcome, Kira. Bill, it's your turn.
President Steve, I've got several guests today in addition to our guest speaker, who I'll introduce in a bit. Joining us in a little while will be Coach Brennan's better 3/4, Courtney Brennan, the wife of Brent and mother of their 3 children. Rob Clark, Senior Deputy Director of Athletics at San Jose State University, right over here. Ben Theonis, Assistant Athletic Director for Football Operations at San Jose State, better known as Coach Brennan's Chief of Staff, apparently. Pat Quinn, Director of Client Services at Block Construction, a proud Spartan, ATO fraternity brother and dear friend.
Hold the standing ovation for Quinn until later, okay? Go ahead, Bill.
Michael Mulcahy, Managing Partner of SDS Next Gen Partners, proud Spartan, detoured through USC, unfortunately, but he's here, a dear friend, business partner, and a good man right here.
Hi, Michael.
Last but not least, John Poach, Executive Director of the San Jose Sports Authority, former member of this club, perhaps coming back, we don't know. Oh, maybe reinstated. And guess what? He's soon to be an inductee into the San Jose State University Sports Hall of Fame.
That's a whole bunch of prospective members right there. Matt Bell, give them all wristbands, would you?
We have another one.
I want to thank Bert. Oh, Rod Deardon has a Zoom introduction, and I just screwed that up. Go ahead, Rod.
If you can hear me, this is Rod, and I am very proud to introduce Bob Nunez. Bob is the past chair twice of another Rotary Club. He's also the regional president of the NAACP. And so I'm very proud to have Bob as my guest today, and we'll look forward to seeing more of him.
Welcome, Bob.
Thank
Welcome,
you very
Bob.
much. Thank you.
A quick thank you to Bert for doing the wine as he always does. Give him some love. And also, Brian Vandeveer is doing AV today. This is his first time flying solo. John During is taking care of his elderly mother. And so let's give Brian some love, please. And as our old friend Popovich would say, Brian, don't screw it up. Is Linda Gold in the house? Linda here? Hi, Linda. Linda's been away in parts unknown for a few years, and just wanted to welcome her back. Linda, it's great to see you. Also, we have 3 new members approved by the board yesterday, and if you're here, please stand up. Kiko Barr, Alfredo Bakari, and Ashley Hopkins Pass. Any of you here? There's Ashley. Welcome. And that's a good reminder on the membership front. We all need to be working on that every week. So everyone, please invite your friends. And we've got a lot of prospects at these tables here today, including some former members maybe we can drag back in. Mike Honiff, can you come on up? Here comes Mike.
Muy buenas tardes. Por favor, que pongan mis diapositivos. Slides, please. Okay. Yes. Buenas tardes. Before I composed this pitch for next year's International Feast, I asked our historian John Kennett how long feasts had taken place. He remembered our first as in 2012, when our committees ran out of money. We wanted to support a club in Sri Lanka to help them acquire equipment for a dialysis clinic. But we didn't have any more money, so John had the idea to hold a feast, and everybody in our committee had different international backgrounds, so we all brought different dishes, and it was a success. We helped get that clinic up and running in Kandy, Sri Lanka. And later on, that club came back, and here's a picture of Kula Saria, my colleague who was in San Jose, and he was the one who served as a liaison between the Kandy Club and our club. Later on, he had another proposal for prosthetic limbs in a country which was ravaged by civil war. So we're very happy to use the first feast to support that club in Sri Lanka. By 2018. Here's the first banquet. You can see there's a lot of food on that table, a groaning table, and lots of people at the Gordon House were enjoying themselves. By 2018, the feast had become a roaring success. Everybody enjoyed it. We had music, we had outdoor entertainment. Of course, the hospitality committee helped us with the wine pouring, and we brought international beers and soft drinks and so forth. So it was a great time, as you can see in this picture. By this year, and I want to say that we use the proceeds from these international feasts now for a variety of different projects. Each feast had its beneficiaries. They could be schools, wheelchairs, clinics, many different things. And so our committee chose which one we're going to emphasize. And this year, we're emphasizing the construction of a whole school, an elementary school in northern Vietnam, to be named for Roy Russell, our late member who did so much to promote well-being in that country. In 2006, my wife and I and about 15 other Rotarians went to Vietnam with Roy. He led the troop. And here in this picture, you can see Jim Little, who was chair of the committee at that time, and Roy Russell off on the right-hand side, holding up a banner saluting our Rotary Club of San Jose for having donated wheelchairs and medical equipment and so forth. And we travelers took advantage to perform medical services and others, and we got acquainted traveling around the country with some of the wonderful places in Vietnam, north and south. When Tu Do, who's back at the back table, when she joined our club in 2008, Roy Russell had found a perfect partner to continue his work in the country of her origin. These are some of the projects that Roy and Tu put together. Roy began as a group study exchange leader, taking 4 young professionals to Vietnam in around 2000. And after that, he began taking wheelchairs and having projects in Vietnam. And when Tu came to the club, they worked together intensely, traveling often, taking pictures, making sure we got the reports back from our project. And you can see here that the projects from 2006 on were wheelchairs and water, potable water, water wells, village water systems, maternity clinics, and all that sort of thing, and more after 2006. This is taken from John Kennett's excellent centennial history of our club. So suffice to say that Roy stepped forward. He took on the job of providing technical assistance. He put up with long hours in the air and many uncomfortable trips by car and other vehicles. And he was our man in Vietnam, working with Tu Do. Please see the description of Tu Do's NGO. It's called NV Help, and it's on page 120 of our history. So thank you very much. We'll see you on a week from Friday at the Gordon House, and Tim Gill, our chairman this year, is signing up people outside as you leave the room. Thank you very much. Oops. Oh, one last point. You'll qualify for a fresh Maine lobster. Roy's daughter, Sloan, is going to be the guest of honor at our banquet on October 1st. So please come, take home your lobster or eat it there and enjoy the fun. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike Conniff, and all of you, please attend this event. It's great fun, and we'll be raising money for a great cause. Next up would Pat Lucas, Art Weisbrot, and Vanessa Zecker all please come up. Vanessa here.
I am appearing by Zoom today. Good afternoon.
Great. Vanessa, since you're on Zoom, why don't you go ahead, and then you'll be followed by Art, who will be followed by Pat.
All right, thank you. I'm going to let Judge Weisbrot take the lead on introducing my dear friend and colleague, Judge Lucas. We are so fortunate that she has chosen us for her time, treasure, and talent. Judge Weisbrot.
Thank you very much, Vanessa. Good to hear from you. I'm glad you're with us.
Thank you.
It's my great honor to introduce my friend, our newest Rotary member, the Honorable Patricia M Lucas. Judge Lucas sits on the California Superior Court for Santa Clara County, where she served as presiding judge in 2017 and 2018, and manages a docket of complex civil cases. She has presided over civil and criminal trials. She's also been a judge in the family court. She served as a pro tem assignment on the 6th District Court of Appeal, which means she served as a judge in appellate cases. Before she took the bench in 2003, Judge Lucas practiced complex civil litigation for over 20 years, most recently with the Silicon Valley firm of Fenwick & West, where she chaired the litigation group. She frequently teaches judges and served as dean of the California Judicial College. She also teaches lawyers through the National Institute of Trial Advocacy. She promotes education on the bench and the bar through her participation on the boards of the William Ingram Inn of Court and the Association of Business Trial Lawyers. She has taught at several law schools and is teaching at Santa Clara right now. Judge Lucas is a third-generation San Francisco. She attended Mercy High School in San Francisco, Rice University, and Berkeley Law School. She's a mother, a grandmother, and a citizen of the Republic of Ireland. Pat is one of San Jose's finest judges. She's decisive, highly intelligent, and competent, and she's also considerate, kind, fun, and overall a great person. She also may be the only judge in the Bay Area who sewed her own judicial robe. Pat?
The bailiff is going to ask you to sit down now, please. Vanessa, did you want to tell a few more lies?
I have no more lies to tell.
Yeah, very good. Hello, friends and new friends and colleagues with whom I look forward to working on behalf of Rotary. So yeah, Arthur's right. I'm native San Franciscan. Both my grandpas were there on April 18th, 1906. So I grew up with stories about the earthquake and the fire and the things that they did to help our family and help others. I was a first-generation college student before that was a phrase. About 40 years ago, I came out of the fog and ventured into this valley and have been here ever since, toiling for some really pretty amazing clients, innovators and creative people in a couple of technology law firms. About 18 years ago, I decided to make a switch to the public sector. One of the last things Governor Gray Davis did in office was to appoint me to the Santa Clara Superior Court. Shortly after that, he was recalled. No causative link between those events has ever been established beyond a reasonable doubt. When I'm not judging, I really like to walk and I really like to travel. And I've combined those two interests in walking the Camino of Santiago in Spain, as well as the Inca Trail in Peru. I'm sorry I will miss the International Feast, but if all goes well, at that time I'll be on a plane to Ecuador and the Galapagos. So look forward to working with all of you, and I'm very grateful to be a part of this community.
Friendly reminder, actually, welcome Pat Lucas. If you don't know Pat, get to know her. She's really special, and she'll say yes when you ask her for help. She'll fit right in. The Lee Weimer's Emerging Artists Program, which is an annual event that we have, is on October 13th. Please attend. It's really one of our high points of the year. We have 4 emerging artists who each get $5,000 stipends. This year, the performances are recorded, but the committee is working hard to make it a spectacular day. So please show up on October 13th. Anybody notice anything about Bill Schroe here in the picture? Wearing a pin, very good. I don't know where my presidential pin is, so I should probably find myself. The Valley of Hearts Delight annual fundraiser put on by History San Jose is on October 14th, and this year's honoree is Sal Pizarro. So let's give Sal some love. I don't think, is Sal here today? Oh, there's Sal. Sal, stand up for just 1 second. I won't find you today. I'll wait for a while. But isn't Sal looking good with that tie and the press shirt and all that? Well done. What's your birthday, Sal? Yeah, mine's October 12th too. Isn't that cute? Yeah, we're only about 25 years apart. That's enough, Sal. You can sit down. So please support this event. You can go online. There might be literature on the table. I can't remember. But let's support Sal in big numbers. Go out and support History San Jose. All of you, please do that. Bill Barron, you want to come up and introduce today's speaker?
I'd like to introduce, before I do, Courtney Brennan. Courtney, you can stand up. And there she is, the lovely Courtney Brennan. A few personal thoughts before I formally introduce today's speaker. Brad and I, we've known Brent Brennan a long time. In fact, since his birth in 1973. So today's introduction is both personal and a privilege. It so happened that our father, Bob, a proud Spartan and also a proud member of this club, mentored Brent's dad, Steve, an equally proud Spartan and an incredible human being. Steve began his career as a stockbroker in the 1970s. They got along famously, as did our wonderful mother, Ellie, and Brent's marvelous mom, Beth. The four of them shared an extremely warm personal friendship. Now, when I was 12 and Brad 16, Beth and Steve recruited the two of us to be bartenders at their annual Christmas party. Bartenders at 12 and 16. We became fixtures every December, making a name for ourselves as the makers, the keepers, and the pourers of the hot spice wine and the famous spiked eggnog. We seemed to promote happiness all around us and probably contributed to some sort of population boom in the later 70s. But it all wasn't fun and games. Brad and I were on occasion asked to babysit today's speaker, provided we promised not to doctor up his baby formula. Mum's a word on that, but look how he turned out. The Brennans, one of the most friendly, outgoing, Spartan-proud families we could have ever been connected to. Great memories always that bring a great smile to our faces and warm to our hearts. Brent was born in San Jose, graduated from St. Francis High School and from UCLA with a history degree. While at UCLA, he was a wide receiver on the football team all 4 years and was part of the Bruins' 1993 Rose Bowl team that played in Pasadena in 1994. Upon graduation, he started a career in coaching, which for those of you who know Brent, perfect life coach and football coach. Although Brent had several specific roles with prestigious football programs around the country, big news hit the wire in 2017 when San Jose State University announced that Brent Brennan had been selected as its head football coach. At that moment, we all knew excitement, can-do spirit, and pride would return to the Spartan program and all it touched. And boy, has it ever. As you all know, the Spartans fought hard and won the 2020 Mountain West Championship trophy, and among several other prestigious recognitions, Coach Brennan received the Lombardi Foundation's College Coach of the Year Award. Congratulations. From elevated academic achievements not reached before to implementation of a nationally recognized community service program to great Spartan football, things have been on the move as Brent, his coaching staff, his team, and the SJSU athletics department leadership together, arm in arm, climb the mountain. So please join Brad and me as we welcome our friend, the thoughtful, the authentic, the energetic head football coach of the Spartan football team, Brent Brennan.
Hello. All right, move that microphone up a little bit. I want to apologize for my attire. I came straight from the practice field, like literally, like, hey, practice is over, good job, I gotta go, type thing. And so I want to apologize. I mean, Ben screwed me up in the car and we rolled over here. The thing at San Jose State that has been incredible in the last 4 years is this process of building. And it has been a hard lift. It has not been an easy process. It's cool for me to engage with Rotarians here or other places that I've gone and speak. I've spoken to Los Altos and San Mateo and Danville. My father-in-law was Rotarian. So I have incredible respect for what you do because you guys give so much. And that is what we do in our program. That's like kind of the fundamental baseline of what we do with our football program. Is we find ways to give to each other, to our community, to our campus, and then, for our players. And the process of trying to get us on the right track, it felt like 1,000 years. When I took this job, I had black hair. Jet black. I had no wrinkles. I had smooth skin. It has been a process, and a lot of the people in this room have been with us for it, and it's been a lot of fun. It's also been really hard. But yeah, so it has been this thing where we were really bad for 2 years. You need a mic? Or you want me to know?
I was told by one of my moles out there that you like to move around.
I do. That's so helpful. That's nice. Okay, good. Oh, and better volume, even better. All right. Okay. So this process for us has just been an ongoing process of moving forward, right? How do we find ways to move forward? Our first year, we are 2-10, and there's no one in the stands, and we've lost games for 7, 8 years, and we suck, and no one wants to watch it. And so how do you motivate players when they're like, well, no one really cares, right? And so that's when our process of giving to them, getting them to give to each other, getting them to give to the community, that's where we turned our focus. And so we started a program called Beyond Football. Coincidentally, it's run by Ben Thenis's way better half. Her name is To Brook, and she is a walking butt kicker. She goes all over the valley. She meets with every major corporation in the valley. She has our players on site tours and mock interviews and all this stuff. So we started pouring into our players the way you all pour into the community. And what we saw was they started to get this new sense of pride, this new sense of self-worth, this new sense of belonging. We forced them to go to the other team's games. Our players would never go watch women's volleyball. So I would say Thursday night, 6 o'clock, everybody's at the volleyball game, or we're going to run. And we're going to run, it's not going to be a good time. And they'd all show up and they'd say, Coach, that was fun. Okay, let's do it again. So we started giving to our campus. We showed up, we volunteered on campus. We helped the new students move into the dorms. We helped we helped the homeless kids in the area have trick or treat through the dormitory. We found ways to work the welcome tents and stand on campus and talk to people. So that people started to say like, oh, hey, those football guys aren't a bunch of jerks. They're actually nice guys. And so us giving ended up coming back to us. And so we get to the pandemic, and the only thing we really have is our team. And the only thing we've really done is we can't get out in the community and serve them because everyone's freaked out. And we can't have fans in our stands because of the county. And so then it just became about the team and the team pouring into each other. And it became this magical, crazy ride of finding a way to move forward, finding a way to care about one another, love each other, and support each other all the way through the season. And at the end of the season, we finished winning the whole thing. And it was this magical, magical ride. Now, the reason I'm holding this red flag is because on our practice field, sometimes we say bad words, but I won't today. This is the BS flag. So if you're a BSing in practice, I'm going to throw this red flag at you, okay? And none of the players want the BS flag. It's funny because they don't want to be acting like they're cheating the drill or like they're not respecting the game of football or the work we have to get done to be good. My point is this. As we are working through this process, we are still building a program. We can't afford to BS the process. We can't afford to BS the drill because we still have too far to go. Yes, we won last year, but like none of you care about last year. Like you want to see what we do this Saturday, right? Or that's what the general public wants, right? That's what I want. I don't care. I haven't, you know what I mean? I have this beautiful championship ring. I've never even worn it. It's in a box. It's like sits on my sink. Or I brush my teeth every morning. I'm like, oh, there's the ring. You know what I mean? It's more about the people and the experience we had as we climbed that mountain day in and day out. So now we are back on it. And we're in a new season. We are currently 2-1. We had our opening game. And we had 16,700 people at the game. Because of the construction in Spartan Stadium, it was full. There were actually people in the upper deck, which was that's been a 4-year goal for me. When I stand on the field at game day, I've said that every time we practice in the stadium, and lots of times when we played, I would stand there some point during the pregame, I'd look up there and I'd say, someday there's going to be people sitting in that upper deck. I don't know when, but someday it's going to happen. And opening game this year, sure enough, we had real people, like not cardboard cutouts. We had real people up there in the upper deck. We had this magical, incredible crowd that was super energizing for our team. And we ended up winning easily. And so as we keep trying to build a successful program at San Jose State, which we are still trying to do, we need people to continue to support. We need donors, we need fans, we need people to show up, come to one game. It's crazy, it's the best deal in the Bay. Best deal in the Bay. I'm sure we have Niners season ticket holders in here, Giants, Warriors, whatever, Stanford, Cal, right? It's $100 for season tickets at San Jose State. $100. Like, you can't get that kind of bargain anywhere, right? If you got a young family, right? Like if you're trying to get your life and your career off the ground and you're looking for a good way to spend a Saturday, come spend it with us. Now, I can't promise the football will be good. I'm hopeful it will be, but the day is awesome. And what our administration has done, creating a really vibrant, fun game day for our fans, is awesome. What is happening on our campus is a complete transformation. And lots of people that haven't been back. How many San Jose State alums we have in here? Okay, wow, it's always like that. I do this every time. Normally I start with that, every time. And it's amazing how many people, doesn't matter where I am, how many people went to school there when I'm in the Bay Area. But, okay, so when you have the, I lost my train of thought. Ben, help me. Oh, the transformation of campus, thank you. Last time, okay, so if you have not been on campus, sorry, for 4 years, raise your hands. No judgment, no judgment. Okay, a few people, okay. But more than that, it kind of went up slow. There's some like, like no judgment, it's cool, I get it. Because to be honest with you, outside of football games, my mom and dad, who come to football games every game and had for 15, 20 years, they hadn't been on campus till I made them go a couple years ago. I mean, they hadn't gone for 20 years. They'd gone to Spartan Stadium, but they hadn't been to the campus. We're talking about close to $1 billion worth of new buildings and new things happening on campus. It's incredible. When you walk around that, when we walk recruits around that campus, they're like, wow, this is awesome. We have this $160 million student and aquatic center, which is like the rec, right? The old school rec center. But this is not the rec center that we all remember from our college days. This is like Club Med. Like if I ever have a player missing class and I catch him missing class, I just go to the rec and he's by the pool with his shirt off, taking in some sun. I'm like, put your shirt on, we're going to class. But it is so nice. Our new student union, incredible. If you come to South Campus and you see the golf facility, oh my goodness. Like we have one of the best golf facilities in the country, right? Which is fantastic for our golf teams who are both nationally ranked and both very good because of that incredible facility. We have a new softball stadium. We didn't have beach volleyball courts. We have a new soccer facility. We have a new tennis facility that hosts the Mubadala Silicon Valley Classic every year. And we have coming by 2023 a new football facility that's going to go on the east side. And so if those of you who have been back to a game, you've noticed or watched it on TV, that east side looks pretty barren. Like we tore out all the old stands that I grew up looking at, or where the students used to be back in the day. And so this transformation at San Jose State is so exciting. And we need to get more and more people involved and engaged in it. There's so many people that just don't even know because they have not engaged the community or the school has not engaged the community in a meaningful way. What I think is because we've sucked at football, no one cares. I mean that. I mean that respectfully, right? Like, because we have not had consistent history of good football, right? The excitement, the interest has fallen off, right? Now it spiked massively last year when we were on that run, but it's kind of chicken or the egg. We need people to show up and engage in a meaningful way so that we can continue this climb and continue to build something that's special that everybody wants to be a part of. Does that make sense? So, come to one game. I got a challenge for y'all. Just come to one game. And like, you don't have to buy season tickets, $100. Like one game is like $14. Like, you know, I mean, that's a Happy Meal at McDonald's in Silicon Valley. So just come to one game and you'll have a great time and we will play good football, but the experience and the environment will be fun and safe, and we will have cold beer and good hot dogs, and it'll be an awesome thing for you and your family. So thank you for having me. Please show up. I love it when people show up, and we will take great care of you.
Time for Q&A. If you'd like to ask a question, come on up to the mic. Just a reminder, wherever you're comfortable, you're the head coach. I'm just your assistant. Also, just a reminder, if you have a red badge and you want to ask a question and there's a line, you just walk right up to the line, you put your elbow in John Kennett's side and push him out of the way. John, go ahead. I'll ask the question again. Everyone else, when you come up to that mic, please eat it. In fact, Sean, would you raise that mic significantly on the stand? I know you know how to do that. You are professionally trained. John Kennett's question was about graduation rates.
Yeah, so currently we are graduating every player. We've had the highest team GPA in the history of San Jose State football. Last semester we had a collective GPA of over a 3.0, the first time it's happened in the history of San Jose State football. My players will, yeah, it's awesome. Our players will tell you that, like, there are some things that I'm hard about, but the academic thing, going to class, I am aggressive, hard about that. So our player's going to graduate from college, and I'm not worried about that at all. We've been doing great in that department. So whenever that was, that has not been in the last 4 years because we've been crushing it. We've been not good at football 4 years, but we've been good at school.
Go ahead, Sean.
I was happy to be at that dinner at the St. Clair Club, and you were so motivational and talking about the adversity that you and your team went through. That whole story was incredible. And after you got through, I said, I'm bringing 10 more people to the game. But could you talk a little bit about that adversity?
I'll give the Reader's Digest version of what happened to us, but just in dates, we were supposed to report as a team July 7th, or excuse me, June 1st. They pushed it to July 7th. We were then not able to really lift or train. The season was supposed to start, training camp August 1st. August 5th, it got pushed. The season got postponed. And so it got postponed basically a month. And then 5 days after that, the season got canceled. And so we had all these kids that had just come back from shelter in place and had been, a lot of our kids didn't grow up like Brennan did with great moms and dads and an awesome house to live in and a great family and all that stuff. So some of them were home in like not the most awesome supportive situations, right? And so our concern was that, we need to keep them here. So we kept them here. They were doing online Zoom. We had to keep them all sequestered. These guys could only hang out with these guys, and these guys could only hang out with these guys, and we could not have any crossover that way. So you all lifted by yourselves, and you lifted by yourselves, and you lifted by yourselves, and we were just trying to find a way to keep moving forward. When they finally hit the reset button, they said you play a game in 1 month from today. And we had no place to practice. We were red tier. We couldn't practice here. We were in total lockdown in county. And so with some great... See, that's why you bring her along, because she always gets you on track, right? Yes, she's the brains of the operation, and just talk to her. There's no doubt. Yeah. No, so these other teams were already starting to practice and prepare. And we couldn't, but there was awesome collaboration from our president, our athletic director, and the CSU, and we moved to Humboldt State, and we were there for 13 days, but we didn't know when we were coming back because it was all based on the restrictions, the levels going up and down. And so we were like in jail in Humboldt. And you can imagine, like, first of all, the Humboldt people were great to us, but like the outside population was not happy we were there. We showed up with 6 buses, 2 picket signs, like, no way, San Jose, and like screaming at us. Players are like, what is going on here, right? And Humboldt doesn't really look like any place most of my team's ever been. So they're like, I just walked into a horror movie, right? We're all in jail, in the dorm, can't leave. But we just started practicing. And we just started, again, caring about each other and giving and supporting each other. We had study hall at night. We had class during the day. We'd practice in the morning, class in the day, study hall at night. And this process of growing together went on. And finally, we got to play. We opened with Air Force, who the year before beat us by 40 points. And we beat them week 1. And then we had some confidence. And then week 2, we won again. Week 3, we won again. Week 4, we won again. And so then this tidal wave started. In the community, San Jose, social media, everybody jumped on board. It was like this magical, crazy, exciting time. And then we go to play Boise State. And we land in Boise. And we wake up, ready for the game. I go for a run. I have a cup of coffee. And my athletic director calls and she says, 8:45 in the morning. The game's canceled. So we're there. Like, we paid whatever that is to go there, and the hotel, like all that. And so they had an outbreak, and so we were shut down. And so we get to, I have a team meeting, and guys are upset. And it's a really emotional thing. It's going to be on Fox. So it's a nationally televised game. We're undefeated. They're undefeated. It's a massive game. And now that's been taken away from our team, and they are just a wreck. So we get on the plane, fly back to San Jose. When we land, we've now gone back to red tier. And so it's literally like, because we all do this, right? Like right before you land, you turn on your phone. You've got to get that dopamine hit. So we turn on our phone, and right away, the county everyone's thing started pinging, right? Like Santa Clara County goes back to red tier, no outdoor activities, no, like whatever those things that came with it, right? And so then we had nowhere to play. Our last 2 games were supposed to be at home. We're in the middle of the conference race. And so with crazy amount of effort, we switch a game from here to Hawaii. So we practice at Scotts Valley High School over in Santa Clara County for 2 days. My man Ben lined the field. He ruined his like $100 pair of shoes or whatever they were, because he painted them lining the field with the paint. We got 2 days of whatever practice. We got on a plane, flew to Hawaii, beat Hawaii, flew the red eye to Vegas, and stayed in Vegas for the next 3 weeks. And we were like stuck in the hotel. We couldn't leave the hotel. So for our players, they had not seen their girlfriends, their social friends. They had not had any face-to-face instruction class-wise. They had not seen their parents or their siblings or their families for about 6 months. And so it really became this like totally galvanizing, pouring into each other, supporting each other thing, which ended with us winning the whole thing. So that's kind of, that's a quick version. I know it took long, sorry.
Hi, Coach. Matt Bell, class of 1990 from San Jose State. I was wondering if you just comment a little bit on recruiting, the importance of recruiting, how challenging it must have been when you first got here, and then maybe how it might be changing now with the success that you've had.
So, good question. How is recruiting, and how was it when I first got here, and how has it, gotten a little bit different or easier since we had some success? It's absolutely easier when you win. Absolutely, there's more interest. I think when we got here, we did a great job. We hired someone that I'd worked with at Oregon State to help us manage the messaging. Like so many of our players, or so many of the people that we're recruiting, or even our fans, they find out all their information about us through social media. Right? They don't necessarily go to the San Jose State Spartan football website and read everything, right? They just get it on their phone. And so we started to manage that message, and that had a huge impact in recruiting because we had to change perception of our school, where we were, and what we were trying to do with the football program. With the young men that we are recruiting right now, this generation buys with their eyes, I would say. Like, so we've all seen it happen, right? Trey Lance, all right, the 49ers first round draft pick. What kind of car do you think he's driving? Like, I drive a Volkswagen. Like, what do you think he's driving? Right? Like, he's driving a Benz, or he's driving a G-Wagon, or he's driving a whatever, right? Like, so this generation that we're recruiting, that's how they think. So that, I mean, that's one of the primary ways the University of Oregon has become the sexiest and most relevant brand in college athletics. They made, like, who's been to Eugene, Oregon? Not sexy, right? No, not nearly as cool as San Jose. But they've done a hell of a job branding it and making it appealing by the facilities they built. The point I'm getting to is this new facility that's going to be completed for us in 2023, in my opinion, will be the biggest thing to happen to Spartan football in 100 years.
Brent, we're going to have two more questions, one from Suzanne, one from Fernando, and if you could limit your answers to about a minute, it would be perfect.
Hey, Coach, thanks for being here today. I think Trey Lance is driving a Camaro, but that's just me. Question for you. I know with all of this adversity, I mean, how much of that really contributed to, can't hear me? I don't think I think somebody may have turned the thing. With all the adversity that these guys face, that you faced, I would imagine that really drove you and catapulted you all to actually go farther, right? It's those pain points and those moments that really push us. What are your top leadership lessons? When you were coaching these guys, you walked through this with them. How did you change as a person? What are the big lessons you took away?
That is a deep question. The place that we start with the leadership on our football team is always about finding ways to serve the team. So how are you doing that? And I think that's a really challenging thing in today's day and age, especially with young people, because they don't know how to talk to each other. They don't ever talk to each other. Like, it's rare, right? Like, most of the time they're sitting right next to each other and texting, like right here. It's crazy. And so trying to get them to communicate face to face has been a really big challenge for us. But you know, my leadership, how I am, is I'm all about loving our kids and our players and giving them everything we can to give them a chance to be successful. I'm not a cuss you out kind of coach. I'm about building people up. And so just plain and simple, how much can I give? And am I building them up or am I tearing them down? That's just like the simplest 1 minute answer.
Thank you, Brent. Fernando?
What happened, Arizona Bowl in 34-13, I was so shocked to learn that we didn't have two of our best players playing, and we only found out about at the time that they started to play. Can you describe what was the thinking behind that?
Behind not telling everybody? Oh, okay, so I don't ever talk about injuries. Like, HIPAA-wise, I can't talk about COVID, right? So it's funny, that we lost 26 players for the bowl game from COVID and contact tracing. And so that had a huge impact on the game. We lost Defensive Player of the Year, we lost our all-conference safety. I mean, we lost 3 offensive linemen. It was really significant. The reason I don't ever talk about, you know, injuries or COVID is because that becomes the focus with the media and the messaging. And I don't ever want our players to be in the excuse mode of, oh, we can't do it because we don't have whoever, this really good player or that really good player. So that's, you know, last week we played against Hawaii, and our tailback was unavailable. And I didn't tell anybody because I don't have to. It's not the NFL, right? And so because I don't have to, I don't want that to be the focus of the media throughout the week. I want our players to be focused on the game. Oh, hey, you're out, you're in, let's go. We can still do this, right? Like, and so I want that to be the mindset. But the bowl game was disappointing. There's no question.
Brent, why don't you come up here with me? Enough about the present. Let's have some fun talking about the past. So, Bill and Brad Barron, their dad, Bob, was a member of this club for a long time. And Bob was a cheerleader at San Jose State starting in 1948. And if you want to know what he looked like, just look right over there. So Brad looked through the bags in his garage to find the clothes, and then Brad and I talked about who could possibly fit into this little uniform. So I called Stu Gans, but he's babysitting. Oh, come on, give me a laugh on that one. So Brad and I were thinking about people who weigh less than 124, And so we came up with Bert. And so, Bert, you're getting smaller and smaller. And Rick Alpers has some stories to tell. And so I'm going to turn the mic over to Rick.
You see that shiver with Brent right there? Stories to tell, but they're all good. They're all good. Courtney, no, I won't. All right. Gosh, 1968, met his mom and dad. We've been the best of friends forever. I remember the eggnog pourers. I was there. Okay. I think Bill had more fun than Brad. Couple things just to share with you guys. This Brennan family is a significant part of Shirley, my wife, and myself's life and our family's life. Steve had a huge impact on me. I'd even talked to Brent about it. There's almost a little parental feeling here for me, and I couldn't be prouder. I wrote 3 things down that I want to talk about, and they're just single words. Slow down, people. They're just single words. This is what this kid, young man, gentleman, coach of the year means to me. Integrity, enthusiasm, and follow through. That's what he is. And I'm proud to be his friend, and I'm damn glad he's here at San Jose State. I am.
Well, is this the coolest thing ever? Let me get out here. So this is very special for me. This isn't just fun for me because I've known the Barron boys and their dad since I was a little guy. My dad and Bill and Brad's dad were best friends. They lived 4 doors down and in back of us in Willow Glen, so we're very, very close. And I'm honored, not that just because I'm the only guy that could fit in the damn thing, but I am honored to wear Bob's wonderful, who does this anymore? This is awesome. I love it. And I think we're going to have a little fundraiser here. We have a football seat. What do you want to do here? We have Climb the Mountain by Brent. Very good. Signed football. Awesome. Anybody want to go out for a pass? Oh, here he is. There you are. There you are. Thank God we have a pro to catch that ball. Sorry about that.
I've got a little bit more. Coach, who do you like to beat most?
Tom, before you go, I want you to go eat that mic so we can hear you.
We got to change that. Okay. Coach, who do you like to beat more? Broncos or Fresno State? Say Broncos. No. Who do you like? No, who do you like? Which one's the...
Really, it's about whoever we're playing this week. That sounds cliche, but because Fresno State's playing good football right now, I could just beat UCLA. Everyone's aware of that.
So the answer is Broncos.
Broncos?
Yeah. No, it could be their own. We can change it to Fresno State because Fresno State could be that challenge of they play on Turkey Day, right?
Get inside that mic, please. Take it off. Talk right in.
All right. This question is for the membership. All right. If you have a car containing a Fresno State Bulldog running back, a Fresno State Bulldog linebacker, and a Bulldog defensive back, who's driving the car? The police.
Ron Srake, that just cost you $100. Who wants to buy a football? The coach signed it, Climb the Mountain, and opening bid $500. Bert? 600. I hear 7, 8, 9. John, how much? 1,000. 1,000? Thank you. 1,100? Come on. 1,100. A couple more bids and then we're done. Somebody. Exactly right. Way to go, John. Shame those Spartans. There's 100 of you in the room. Somebody give me $1,300 and we're done. 1,500, we're done. Oh, my shoulder. Oh, my shoulder. Coach, do you want to take one more minute and wrap things up?
I just want to say thank you for everybody having us out today. I've got some really awesome people that work with us closely at our place. I mentioned the collaboration that gave us a chance to kind of move forward last year when everything was so messy. But that's what our place is. And that's the only way, in my opinion, that San Jose State works, is if we have incredible collaboration, like real people willing to work together, talk about stuff, try and find a way to move forward when we don't have exactly everything in place yet. And I think lots of times people say, I'll believe it when I see it. I like to flip that. I like to say you have to believe it so that it's possible to show up. Like, you have to believe that it can happen. And so with great collaboration with awesome people like y'all and everybody in the city that's been so good to us and on our campus, we're going to keep climbing the mountain, especially if we can get you guys to show up to one game this year. So I look forward to seeing you guys. We play on 2 Saturdays at home at Spartan Stadium. It's a night game. We're playing New Mexico State, and it's going to be awesome. So Spartan up. Thank you for having me.
Isn't that a wonderful program, everyone? And I will also challenge you, please go to a game this year. It's really fun. My friend Carl Salas, Carl might be on Zoom today, but Carl, during the sort of lonely years of San Jose State football, Carl loves halftime shows. So he would call me and say, hey, you want to go to the halftime show today? So he'd come by on his bike, and we would ride our bikes over there and watch the halftime show, and it's 37-0, and then we would go home. So for what it's worth. Also,
Steve,
Coach,
is there a way to donate, like tickets to families or people? Because $100 isn't much for me, but it might be for
take the
somebody.
microphone out so we can hear you better. And just be clear about what you're suggesting.
I am suggesting that $100 isn't a lot for most of us, but it might be for families, alumni, people in the area. So is there a way to donate a season ticket to some family or somebody in the area?
We will get back to you. Coach, I'm sure, has an answer for that, along with the entire athletic department. And yes, we'll figure that out. We'll put that in the bulletin, Kathleen. Thanks. Wonderful idea. Coach? Yes. Well, thank you, John. Thank you, John. Coach, in your honor, we are going to make a donation, which we do each week on behalf of our speaker, and that's going to go to our Rhodoplast committee. And if you don't know what it is, one of your friends will tell you, and partly because our friend Cindy George is here. Cindy, where are you? Cindy, stand up, stand up, stand up. If you haven't been on a Rhodoplast trip, sign up, join the committee. It's the most wonderful committee you'll ever be a member of. And maybe, Coach, you can even join us someday. With that, I'll say thank you for coming. Please come next week. Tell your friends to come. I'm really lonesome when we have these tiny crowds. So yeah, do it for me. Okay? Do it for me. I'll see y'all next week.